Welcome to Ingen Fitness. For those of you who are new to my channel, my name is Anthony. I'm someone who went from skinny to fit, and these videos are purely educational, so this way you guys can go ahead, learn from these videos, especially if you are a skinny individual, so this way you can get your own results instead of the gym, so long as you're being consistent with what you're learning here. For those of you who are interested in one-to-one coaching, feel free to click on the link down below in the description so this way I can set up a game plan for you and point you in the right direction. But enough about that, let's get straight into the video for today where I'm going to be talking about my own personal mistakes when it comes to going, or when it came to going from skinny to fit. So let's start the video here. The mistakes that I've made that I'll explain to you all in just a few seconds here kept me looking like this for years. Um, Far left side, I think, was back in probably my first year of training, actually. The middle picture here, probably still the first 1 to 2 years. And then that third picture, probably still the same 1 to 3 years, somewhere around that range. Not too entirely sure. But 1 to 3 years, as you can see, I made like literally very minimal progress, which is embarrassing because I thought I had like a badass physique at the time. Sure, I was relatively lean and toned, but there's no muscle mass to my physique, right? There was nothing at all. I'm just basically skin and bones from what I see from my perspective. And so, the mistakes that I'll share with you all kept me looking like this. And I definitely want to make sure that if you are also someone who's skinny, you don't end up being stuck looking the way that you do, right? The way that is unsatisfying for you, the way that has no results for you, right? That drives no results for you. So this way you guys can actually start making results and start seeing results inside of the gym. Apart from this, though, apart from just looking the same for years on end and doing the wrong things, I actually ended up having to take a whole entire year off of the gym altogether because at some points I would start to ego lift and then I developed hernias. And so I needed to get those removed because they were bothering me, right? They were causing me pain. So I had no choice but to get them removed. Otherwise, it'd be causing me more pain. And from what the research says, if hernias get too big, they do end up causing, I think it's intestinal troubles or whatever it is. Don't quote me on that. I could be entirely wrong. But nonetheless, I was experiencing pain, so I needed those hernias off or out. And so I got the surgery to do so. I needed to rest up for almost an entire year. So this way they wouldn't come back. But unfortunately, they are back. But they're much smaller, right? They're not causing me as much pain. They're not bothering me as much. But I will eventually need to get another surgery to get them removed. Because I could have probably taken, no, not probably, I could have taken my recovery process a lot more seriously. So when easing back into the gym, because I wanted to go from 0 to 100 right off the bat after recovering from the surgery. But that is not at all very smart, and I definitely fucked up some things from trying to do that, right? From going up 0 to 100 really, really fast. Um, Nonetheless, though, because of the ego lifting in the first place, because of not training the right way, I ended up having hernias in the first place. So I needed to, get surgery for that, and it caused me to essentially fall back on my progress when it came to fitness. So let's get into the mistakes that I'll speak to you all about. So this way you know what to avoid, how to correct the mistakes, and actually how to actually do things the right way. So that way you all start seeing results. So let's start with priorities, number one. So if you have something that you give a shit about or something that matters, it doesn't even have to be about fitness. You will make that thing the number one priority for you. And what I mean specifically about something you give a shit about, it's not like some girl, right? It's cool if you're in a relationship and all that, but what I mean more so specifically is your goals, the goals that you have in mind set up for yourself, so this way that so that you can reach those goals. That's what I'm trying to say here, right? So prioritizing your goals, specifically prioritizing your fitness goals. In the beginning of my fitness journey, though, I got okay results, nothing crazy at all, as you guys could clearly see. But the results were enough for me to really just be a little bit more confident, right? Because I went from super skinny to just, skinny, to say the least, right? This caused me to finally build up confidence, though, specifically confidence to speak to girls, because I was a very low confident guy, really very little self-esteem. But the gym and just seeing those very few initial results helped me really build up confidence within myself. Because of this, I eventually ended up getting in my very first relationship. And during that time, I would put my fitness goals in the back burner and I would put that girl first. Stupidest mistake ever that I've ever made. And this should never be the case for you all. Do not make the mistake that I've made, especially if you are someone who's on the younger side, who's in high school, because this all happened during high school, just so you're aware. So if you are also someone who's on the younger side, who's maybe in college or whatever, or high school, right? Do not put females or other things. No, let me just cut that off. Let me just rephrase what I'm trying to say. Do not put something that's going to distract you in place of your goals, right? Do not put that thing first and play before your goals, because that's not going to benefit you at all whatsoever in the long run. If you really care about your fitness goals, you will put those goals first before anything else, right? And I'm not saying you don't have to go out on dates or whatever, or be celibate or anything like that, or do semen retention, right? No, nothing like that. What I am saying though is, like, make sure you make the time for your fitness goals. Make sure you make the time to go to the gym, get your eating in, rest and recover, and then whatever time you have left over or whatever else you want to do within your day, do whatever. Spend time with that girl, go out on dates, whatever it is, go to that party. I'm all about fitting fitness into your lifestyle, not making it your whole entire life, right? Because that's not sustainable at all whatsoever. Because we need to live our lives. It's only going to be beneficial for our own mental health. But what I am saying here is that if you really give a shit about your own fitness goals, make sure to make those things a priority first, that you need to get done, a non-negotiable in your day that you need to get done first, and then everything else, the rest of your day, you can do whatever you want, right? Go out with girls, whatever it is, go out on a date, hang out with your friends, go to that party, whatever. So keep that in mind, please. It's going to save you a lot of time, and it's really going to keep you on track within your fitness goals, within your fitness progress, and overall just your fitness journey. So yeah, if you're serious about your fitness goals, you will make time for them. It doesn't matter if you're in a relationship, if you're busy with work, or have kids, etc., etc. And if you're someone with kids and who's saying some stupid shit like, "Oh, this kid is young, he doesn't have any kids." Yes, I don't have any kids, but I know people who have kids and who still make time for the gym. So your excuses are bullshit. It's only because you need to take a good hard look in the mirror and ask yourself, "Am I serious about my own fitness goals?" And 9 times out of 10, if you're making these excuses, you're not serious about your goals. And it's probably gonna offend some people, me saying that, but that's okay. You probably don't deserve to watch this video then if you're easily offended, because that's just the blunt, cold truth that you need to hear. It's the metaphorical slap that you need across your face, so that way you can actually start hitting your fitness goals. Because if you don't have someone to hit you across the face metaphorically with hard truths, then you're not going to get anywhere. You're not going to make any progress at all whatsoever. So this is coming from a place of love, not because I want to fucking, bash on you, but it's just because it's the cold, hard truth that I wish someone would have told me way back then, when I was younger, when I was a fucking kid. I needed that metaphorical slap. Of course, the scenarios were different. I wasn't, a fucking 16-year-old and having kids. I was just a 16-year-old who was in love and being stupid. But the second mistake that I made is training. And specifically when I say training, I mean, the way that I was training was terrible. I would do 4 sets by 12 reps on every exercise. I picked a super low weight that didn't challenge me at all. Like I mentioned before, I would ego lift at times, and I did rest times of 60 to 90 seconds. And really, that just like made me, I don't know, like it didn't allow for me to exert myself to the level that I know I could have exerted myself. My main priority was just to get in and out of the gym. I would spend 2 hours inside of the gym, and I thought the more I did, the better it was. But in reality, that's not the case at all whatsoever. The less that you do inside your training sessions actually equate to more. And listen, hear me out. Stay with me when I say this. Because now what I do is I do 2 sets of 6 to 8 reps with moderate weight where I can actually control the movement all the way through, but still exert myself. I train with super high intensity, and with training in this way, you hit total muscular failure if you do that for 2 sets. Because if you do that for 2 sets, if you train with high intensity and you hit muscular failure, it's way better than doing 4 sets of 12 reps of all the exercises that you have in place. Apart from this, back then, I would also train legs once per week, and now I'm still paying the price for it because I'm having to pay catch up. My upper body looks good, but my lower body looks decent, and it needs to catch up, right? So, and calves, I avoided calf training as well whatsoever because I thought genetics plays a huge role in it. And yes, it does, but also you can fucking hit them as hard as you can and they're still gonna grow. don't just believe that it's just purely genetics, right? Look at it in this way. Try to achieve your full genetic potential with your entire body, all the muscle groups. It doesn't matter if your calves are small or, they have high insertions and they look like shit. Actually still train them, because I guarantee you they're still going to grow. Mine, when I finally started training them consistently, they actually started to grow a little bit more. And I was like, well, shit, look at this. I'm actually growing. And it's not because I decided to believe the truth that it was all purely genetic. I actually believed that, yes, but I was like, I don't give a fuck if it's just that. I'm still going to train them regardless of that fact. So, as I was saying, now I still train with super high intensity, 2 sets, 6 to 8 reps. I train. I actually exert myself in each of my training sessions. It's so much more fun, and I'm also in and out of the gym within 60 minutes, which is amazing. And I train this way 5 times per week. And you can also train this way 2 times, 3 times, or even 4 times per week. You don't have to be in the gym 6 or 7 times per week for 2 to 3 hours a day, busting your ass off. And for those of you who tell you that you need to do that to get great results, they're feeding you a load of shit, on a plate, and that's what's going to make you not follow through with your fitness journey. It's going to make things super hard for you. You're going to get burnt out, and it's not going to be a fun ride whatsoever. So do not believe those myths out there. If anything, the people who say that, I'd say 60 to 70% of them are on some sort of performance enhancing drug. And naturally, they can do that because unnaturally, they can do that because they're able to recover in an ungodly amount of time compared to us natural lifters who actually need a little bit more rest, especially if we are training, with high intensity. So we need as much rest as we can get. As far as rest times goes in between sets, I would rest for 3 minutes. Now I rest 3 minutes, anywhere between 3 to 5 minutes. Because if I am training with super high intensity, then I need all the rest that I can get, so that way I can exert myself again for the next set ahead. So the same intensity within the first set for the second set. So I need all the rest I can to be able to do so. I train legs twice per week now, and also calves, obviously, because it's part of the legs, like any other muscle group. And I implement progressive overload, because back then, I would just stay in the same light weight for weeks on end and make zero progress and would wonder why I'm not growing. Well, no shit, you're not growing because you're not progressively overloading. You're not adding more weight to what you're doing. And for those of you who don't know what progressive overload is, go back to my 3 videos, my 3 previous videos, where in each one of those 3 previous videos, I briefly explain what progressive overload is. So that way you guys get a better understanding of what it is and what it's all about. But essentially, progressive overload is just either increasing the weight, increasing the sets, or increasing the reps of what you're doing. So this way you can get stronger and grow bigger. Now, number 3, nutrition side of things. Before, I was half-assing tracking my calories. I would always blame my fast metabolism for keeping me skinny. I wouldn't weigh myself at all, and I wasn't eating at a surplus because I essentially did not track at all. I had that lack of tracking that at the times where I did track, I'd see that I was a little bit under or a lot of bit under my calorie goals for the day, and I'd just be like, what the hell, it's whatever, right? I feel like I'm eating a lot of food, I feel full, and that's that. I was contemplating on going on a dirty bulk at times as well, and this is the biggest one. I was not hitting my daily protein goals that I needed to hit. And so that's a big fucking no-no. Like, you cannot do that. Like, you need to make sure you're hitting your protein goals. If you're 5 grams off, that's okay. I'd rather you guys, and for myself, the same applies. I'd rather be over than under when it comes to my protein goals. So making a full 180 now, whenever I do bulk, I make an effort to track my calories. Right now, I'm not in a bulking phase. I'm on a cutting phase, so I'm not tracking my, what I eat in a surplus, because I will only track anything I eat when I am in a surplus of calories. So when I do bulk, I will track my calories. I will, go to MyFitnessPal. I will track it day-to-day basis, 6 times per week, because the 7th day, Sunday typically, I'll take a break from tracking and from eating in a surplus just to give my body time to reset, recharge, and, be ready to, hit the next week ahead consistently. I track my weight. When I do bulk, I track my weight once per week just to make sure I'm making progress. And when you do weigh yourself, you want to make sure that you're getting the most accurate reading of your weight. So typically, the time where this happens is first thing in the morning when you wake up, after you go pee, after you go poop, do your necessities, take your clothes off, leave everything but your underwear on, and just weigh yourself, because that's going to give you the most accurate reading of what you presently weigh in the mornings. and what you presently just weigh in general. So no water, no food, just weigh yourself after you're done using the bathroom and after you're done getting pretty much naked in a sense. So I track my weight once per week just to ensure I'm making progress whenever I do bulk. Whenever I do bulk, I go in slight caloric surpluses of 300 to 500 calories, because more calories does not always equal better, just so you know. Because if you're eating thousands of calories above your surplus or above your maintenance, that means you're in dirty bulk territory. And when you dirty bulk, you're gaining excess fat that you don't need at all whatsoever. And you're going to look like shit and you're going to feel like shit from doing so. And most importantly, I actually hit my protein goals for the day. That's a non-negotiable for me. I hit it daily, 7 times per week. Sometimes I'll have the off week where I don't hit it on a Sunday, but that's okay. I'd rather hit it 6 times per week rather than 2 or 3 times per week unconsistently. So there's that. And one more point to note about the slight caloric surplus of 300 to 500 calories. There will be a time where you will plateau in weight when you are going through your bulking phase. So whenever you do plateau in weight, and when I say plateau, that means whenever you do stay the same in weight, that's when you need to add an additional 300 to 500 more calories to what you're already eating, so that way the scale can move again. And please keep in mind, you will still need to weigh yourself. It's never a guarantee. If you add 300 to 500 more additional calories to what you're already eating, that you're going to gain weight. Sometimes people don't gain weight from doing that, and they'll need to add an extra 300 to 500 more. Sometimes that's enough for most people, and they'll start gaining weight again, and they'll plateau again, and that's when you need to add more calories. That same sweet spot, 300 to 500 calories more. And essentially, you'll repeat that same cycle throughout your entire bulking phase. And you might be asking, what is a good bulking phase timeline? Anywhere between 12 to 16 weeks, 3 to 4 months. Number 4 is rest. So before, I wouldn't take my sleep seriously. Obviously I was a teenager, so I would get like 4 hours of sleep, maybe 5 hours on a good night. And essentially, I'd still have a lot of energy though the next day to do a lot more than most people will do older. Because now I'm 25 now, I'm in my 20s. Now if I get anywhere less than 7 hours of sleep per night, I'm fucked the next morning. Like I'm so out of it, and I can't fathom sleeping for 4 hours a night now. So if you want to build muscle though, it doesn't matter if you're a teenager or in your 20s. If you are looking to build good quality muscle, especially if you're taking your eating seriously and you're training hard as well, then you need to make sure that you're sleeping 7 hours or more per night, because that's where the real muscle growth happens, when you sleep. That's your body's chance to rebuild, to recover, to repair itself, make your muscles bigger, that sort of stuff. The important stuff that you need to make sure that you're making progress. Apart from that, sleeping that much time, 7 hours plus per night, will allow for you to actually recharge your batteries. So this way you can train with high intensity your next training session. Because if you sleep like shit, you're going to train like shit, you're going to eat like shit, and it's not going to get you the progress or the results that you want inside your fitness journey. If you do struggle with sleeping though, I recommend looking into taking melatonin every now and then, not all the time, because you also don't want your body to get used to melatonin, because naturally our body does produce melatonin. I think it's like anywhere between 2 to 3 milligrams that it does produce or secrete from within ourselves. So typically, if you are going to take melatonin, I would recommend taking 5 milligrams. If you only have the 10 milligram option, just cut the supplement in half to make it 5. But again, I recommend just doing it every now and then, not every time, because you just don't want to make sure, you just want to make sure your body does not get used to the supplement itself. Because if you take the supplement consistently for months on end, and all of a sudden you decide to wean off of it, or just go cold turkey, you're gonna find it very difficult to fall asleep at night by yourself. So don't allow for yourself to get dependent on melatonin. That covers it for the video for today though, guys. It was definitely a little bit of a longer one, but I think with anything that is longer in time within these videos, it's definitely worth it, because there's a lot of information to give you guys, and a lot of value that you all are going to get. So I hope you took some notes, or at least you're going to revisit this video, watch it a few different times to make sure that you got every point that you need to ensure that you're actually making progress, avoiding the mistakes that I've made in the past, so that way you don't get stuck like I did for years on end, looking, still skinny, making very minimal progress, and not really getting the results that you should be getting inside of the gym. So please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, comment down below what you want to see next in terms of a video, and I'd be happy to make it for you all. And one more time, if you are someone looking for one-to-one coaching, the link for that will be down below in the description, so feel free to check that out as well. And until the next one, guys, much love to you all, and peace.